Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Finally making this video about color care, lightening your hair, keeping it healthy, not compromising your curl pattern, not losing your hair not breaking off in the process. Those of you who follow me on Instagram and have been keeping up with me, you know I have been in a lightening hair process for several months and I am fully done. This is as light as I will go. This was my goal and this is where I'm gonna stay. I have been avoiding changing my hair for the past 10 years. If you know my hair history, you know that I damaged my hair very badly over 11 years ago. And majority of that damage actually came from hair dye, chemicals in hair dye. And on top of that, I used heat. So that just added on to it. But the visible damage, I believe, truly came from processing my hair way too much. And I didn't know what I was doing back then. That whole process basically scared the crap out of me. And I never wanted to damage my curls again. So for a long time, I was like, well, that's that. I am never dyeing my hair again. I am never using heat again. And that's the type of personality I am. If something is bad for me, I will literally stay away from it, probably forever. So it's been over 11 years and I decided to change my hair and lighten my hair. And before I tell you why, I just want to let you know I am not here to promote getting your hair lightened, aka bleached, but I'm also not here to discourage those of you who are desiring and thinking about lightening their hair. Because girl, going through a color or lightening process is not for everyone. So I'm just here to help you make a wise decision, an informed decision that will allow you to keep your healthy, beautiful curls and still allow them to thrive. So before you do anything, please watch this video and hear me out, because here are the facts. Before I show you my curly styling, let's address some questions I've been getting. Why did I decide to go light? One, I've had my hair in its dark, natural color for the past 10 years, I believe. And I was totally okay with having my hair dark and natural. It wasn't something that was bothering me for the past 10 years. But throughout those 10 years, I've always avoided making certain changes that are drastic, like chemical processing, straightening my hair, and things like that, in the name of health, in the name of keeping my curls healthy and not allowing any chemicals to go in my body, because that's something that's very important to me. And that's the reason I use non-toxic products and organic ingredients and things like that. But it wasn't until I went through severe postpartum hair loss from 2018 all the way to 2020. There's very few people in the world that get severe postpartum hair loss for longer than a year. I was one of them. My hormones were so out of whack, I had to get my hormones under control before my hair got under control. My first child, I did not go through this at all. My hair bounced back. Within a year, my hair was long and healthy again. And my hair loss was only 3 months the first time. But the second time, I kept losing hair for over a year. So it took a toll on my hair. My hair density was a lot less, which just means I had less strands of hair on my head. That affected my volume, that affected my confidence. I wanted to make a change, so I cut my hair in 2019, pretty short for my standards of short. I was hoping that with that haircut, my hair could now go back to its normal state, but it didn't quite do it the way that I wanted to, or the way that I expected to. And I saw progress here and there, little by little, but it took a long time. So basically, throughout this process of me being so discouraged with my hair and losing confidence, I just wanted my hair to look different. I wanted my hair to be different. So I devoted myself to relearning about hair, what I thought I knew, and going into it as if I never knew it. And that led me to have an intentional hair care routine that focused on scalp care, hair growth, and protecting my ends in a way I never did before. I was doing the most. Literally everything you can think of to get my scalp to grow hair and keep the length that's been growing, I was doing the most. But primarily, I was doing things at home inside. I was doing couple of different detoxes that I never did before. I was focusing on getting my hormones back on track. My hair started bouncing back and I wanted to make a change. I wanted my hair to bounce back, not looking the same as it did before. I wanted it to bounce back looking new and different, because I was making changes in my mentality and at home, in my personal life with my husband, my parenting, my belief system. I wanted to look different so that it matches the changes I'm making inside. And the fact that I've looked the same for so long began to bother me, because looking the same represented not changing to me. And one of the easiest changes I can make is changing my hair. And a lot of people were like, you should get a pixie cut. And it's like, no, I'm not gonna get a pixie cut now because it's not gonna be good for my mental health. If I have just came from struggling with hair growth and hair loss, a pixie cut would not be a good idea at this point in my life. I think a pixie cut is great for me to do in the future. I admire it, I love it. Mentally, that will mean I'm only getting a pixie cut because I can't grow my hair. I'm not going to settle well with the idea of having short hair and enjoying it, knowing that I only have a pixie cut by default because I can't have long hair. And that's not the reason to get a pixie cut. It's going to make me desire long hair even more. So the next option of change would be dyeing my hair. So I started to educate myself on lightening my hair in a healthy way that isn't going to affect my health and isn't going to affect my curl health. Actually, never really been a big admirer of blonde hair. I just wanted a change. And after doing it, I realized, wow, this really does suit me way more than I even imagined. And a lot of people go wrong in this part where they assume they can just dye their hair at home, bleach their hair at home, and they go ahead and do that because they saw some videos online. But then you can easily over-process your hair when you're doing that at home. And I am not an advocate for bleaching your hair at home. I personally would not do that. So I decided to find a stylist that cares about the things I care about and understands curls. When I lived in New Jersey, I used to go to the salon called Utopia Salon, which is by Nubia Suarez, and she made the Rizzo method, the Rizzo cut. And if I was in Jersey, I would have gone to her to go through a color process because I do trust her expertise. So I decided to look for Rizzo stylists in Austin, where I live. I found a couple, and I found one here in Austin that not only was a Rizzo certified stylist, but also had a ton of other certifications, has curly hair herself and blonde hair herself that she has lightened over the years. I already followed her on Instagram for quite a while. I set an appointment. So just so you guys see a scale of what it took, on my first appointment, it was just a consultation for us to talk about what we're gonna do and what our plan is and what I like and dislike. In that consultation, I expressed to her my concerns, what I hope to get in our appointment. She explained to me her entire coloring process, how long it would take. And as I'm getting to know her and her process, I look at her salon and I'm noticing all these brands, these non-toxic brands that I already use and I'm already familiar with. And that was just a cherry on top. And on top of that, I saw new ones that I was never aware of before that I learned about through going to her salon. And she explained to me that this was not going to be a quick process. And in many large salons, you can easily go in and tell them you want, hair lightened to this severity. They can probably do it in one day. But most likely getting that done in one day will leave your curls damaged. The cuticle will be so damaged that it will not curl anymore. You have lost a lot of protein by that point, and I don't want that. And it is especially important that before going through a color process, your hair should be in a healthy state. On the second appointment, we went through the first process, which took over 6 hours, like 6 hours and a half. And she let me know, hey, you're gonna leave here today with like a honey color. That's as light as we're gonna go, and that's as light as we can safely go for your hair type. And I was totally fine with that. I was like, okay, that's as light as we can go. That's totally fine with me. And the style that I chose for my hair coloring is away from the roots for a specific reason. The most important reason is because I care about chemicals. So I chose a specific style that does not touch my scalp at all. So when she applied the lightener on my hair, it's always being applied away from my scalp. And some parts are darker than others, which I requested for my own personal things because I have issues with the back of my head and my hair is a different texture back here. I don't know if other stylists do this, but she was constantly checking my hair to make sure that the color is processing as it should and it's not processing too light. And after that hair was done processing, she would take a wet towel and basically wipe the lightener off of my hair with a wet towel so that certain parts of my hair aren't continuing to process before we go wash my hair. And also, none of the lightener is touching my scalp again. It's just being washed out into the sink. I just really loved that whole process. It made me want to go through the second process. And that was just like a little update done to continue the pattern that April started with a friend of hers. Because April wasn't available for a certain amount of time, she had to be away for a certain amount of time. So she sent me over to a friend of hers that she trusts and understands April's process, and she continued what April started. In the second process, my hair looked like this, and then by the third process, I went back to April, which was this last time, and she did the final coloring. I wasn't sure if that was gonna be the final one. I just wanted to see how light it would be towards the end. And once I saw my hair, I was like, oh, this is it. This is as light as I'm gonna go. This is where I'm gonna stay. This is where I'm comfortable at. And the reason why I'm staying here is because that's the next question that people keep asking me. Will I ever go back to dark? Yes, I already know I will. I'm going to go back to dark at some point. So I don't want to start this process with the idea of going way too light because I want to be able to safely go back to dark without any damage. And that's the plan.
Right, super curly. You can definitely color your hair light and still maintain the integrity of your curl. You just need a stylist who's paying attention, knows what they're doing, and knows when enough is enough for your hair.
You can get so much advice online, but when a stylist is looking at your hair in person and you are expressing your concerns, you can get a more personalized routine from a stylist and they can better assist you while styling your hair and taking care of your hair as they get to know your hair and teach you at the same time as it's happening. And the last thing is, yes, you have to deep condition every single week. Not just because you have lightened hair, but because curly hair needs it. And I do not fail at that. This is why I say going through a color process, a lightening process is not for everyone. If you are someone who's already not deep conditioning weekly, who's already not intentional, then please do yourself a favor, do not lighten your hair. Because if you're not able to upkeep it at home and maintain your hair healthy yourself, then you shouldn't go through a color process that's only gonna leave you with compromised hair. Think of it like this. All of your hair has different forms of fragile stages. Your follicles, it's like the womb where the baby is living. The hair on your scalp is a newborn baby that's brand new and perfect because it hasn't gone through enough life experience yet to endure much trauma. The hair in the middle is a teenager. That teenager is strong, but it has its ups and downs and can crack under pressure because it's a teenager. And the hair on your very ends is the oldest, the elderly person, because it has endured the most life experience, the most trauma, the most damage. And it is this close to the edge at cracking at any moment. So it needs the most attention of all, but it doesn't mean that the baby doesn't need attention either, because if you don't nourish this baby, that baby might not get to the elderly stage as it goes on through life. And you want that baby to get as old as it possibly can so that it can grow long and still be here at the longest length possible. But some babies only grow up to be 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, and some don't make it to 100 years old. All right, let me stop there because you guys get it already, right? You get the point. The point is, you can't just give your hair some TLC once a month and expect it to thrive all these other days. So maintaining your hair at home is 90% of the work. So I suggest anyone thinking about lightening their hair, start there. Start at the intentional home process first. Now today I'm doing a curly styling routine for you guys. I haven't done one of these in a while. So let me take you back to a few hours ago. Welcome to my weekly hair routine. There are certain things that I never skip doing on a weekly basis, and that is oil scalp massaging and deep conditioning. I used to deep condition like once a month and sometimes go months without deep conditioning, and I regret that so much. When I know it's wash day in the morning, I will grab an oil. If I use my own DIY oil, I would use this maybe an hour or 30 minutes before going in the shower and washing my hair. And when I use this oil, I do cleanse my scalp with shampoo. But I am also very into light oils that are already made by companies like Ceremonia. The Aceite de Mosca oil by Ceremonia is so good. I've been using this for many months. I even have backups right here. And I've given it to my mom, I've given it to my friends. The morning of wash day, as soon as I wake up, literally before I even brush my teeth, the first thing I would do is grab this oil and put it on my scalp, just like this, in many different areas of my scalp. It's a super lightweight feeling oil, and it has this applicator which is very easy to just run through your scalp, and I can feel it kind of like dripping through my scalp. It tickles a little bit. And I also make sure to get my problem areas like the back of my head, the very edges of the back of my neck, and I massage that in just like this for a little while, and it feels very good. It doesn't really take that much time. It takes like 5 minutes. I do this and then I brush my teeth and get dressed for the day. My scalp will be soaking in this oil. Weekly, I also like to oil my ends, the rest of my hair. I pretty much oil my ends every few days, and I think that that's one of the things that's new in my routine that has really helped with length retention. To oil my ends, I use a combination of sunflower oil, pumpkin seed oil, and amla. Sometimes I use the amla on its own, and I know some people say you shouldn't use amla on colored hair because it can darken your hair. I have not had that experience. I was kind of looking for that. Maybe because I tone my hair. I don't know. I don't know what people are saying this, but it hasn't happened to me. I don't want this video to be long, too much rambling, and I have so much to say. I basically take a little bit of oil, like right now I'm using my DIY one, and put it on my ends, especially on the back of my head, again, which is where my problem area is. So I like taking sections like this and just massaging that in. I'm not detangling it with my fingers or anything. I'm just massaging that in, and then take another section and then massaging that in. I focus it on the ends of my hair. I don't want my hair to be dripping in oil. I just want to saturate it. And then whatever's left over in my hands, I put on my bangs, just balance things out. I can leave my hair like this, go about my day, or I can pick it up just like that. And at whatever time I want, I can then wash my hair and style my hair as usual. And speaking of deep conditioning, I am officially a deep conditioner junkie. This isn't all of them. This is just as much as I can carry. Enough blabbing. Let's do this. Okay, I just want to show you one of my favorite scalp care products real quick. This is the Innocent Scalp Scrub, which has salt and minerals to remove buildup before cleansing. And I'm not using this today, but I do like to use this every other week to clarify my scalp without using a clarifying shampoo, which can oftentimes be too drying. And speaking of shampoo, I rarely use shampoo these days because I found this product called New Wash by the brand Hair Story, thanks to my hairstylist. It comes in convenient refill packaging, and their transparency and perfect ingredients won my heart. This is the only no-sud cleanser that I can use week after week without needing shampoo in between washes and without causing buildup in my hair. And I am not even sponsored by this brand, you guys. It's really unlike any other conditioning cleanser. I just put a good amount in my scalp and the rest of my hair because it's so moisturizing, and it doubles as a cleanser and a conditioner. So we're going to use this to detangle as well. And then I grab my scalp brush and scrub my scalp to cleanse really well while moving my hands down my head in a back and forth motion. Just never scrub in circles though, because that'll cause tangles, and that's the opposite of what we want. But seriously though, I now always use a scalp brush to cleanse my hair even when I'm deciding to use shampoo. It's a game changer for me, and this one's by Ceremonia, but you can use any brand really, as long as it's a silicone base, because they're all pretty much the same. Alright, now to detangle, I have two ways depending on my hair's condition, but today I'm going for the brush detangler because it's more gentle and precise for curl textures. And as always, I begin with my ends and move my way up until it glides smoothly. And this New Wash cleanser doesn't even require additional conditioner to detangle, especially if you're using the original formula like I am, and if you deep condition often like I do. Now finally, it's time to rinse off my hair well. But for those skeptics out there, this cleanser left no oil or residue feeling in my hair. My hair and hands feel as if I used hand soap, for example. With other cleansing conditioners I've used in the past, like this one, I'm not able to use it week after week. It's a good co-wash, but only as a one-time use, you know? And here's my shedding after washing and detangling, which I always like to show. And moving on to deep condition, this is one of my favorites to use when I'm not toning my hair or doing a curl routine. But to tone and deep condition in one step, I use the Bondi Boost Purple Mask, which in my opinion is more blue than purple. And this toning mask works best if your hair isn't so wet to start. So I always towel dry with a microfiber towel first because water basically dilutes the strength of the toner. Then I begin applying with my hands. But to avoid staining your hands and nails, you can use gloves. I'm just too lazy for all that. I comb it through with a wide tooth comb and leave it on for like 25-ish minutes before rinsing out. But you can start with 15 minutes and then see if you prefer more time the next time you tone. And yes, that was a kitchen timer in my bathroom. And I always do my skincare first. I'm not showing you a routine here, just a quick glance at what I'm loving these days, like this Balm Eye Cream that gives instant results, and my Derma E Radiant Glow Face Oil, which I formulated with the brand Derma E in case you didn't know. And if I'm doing makeup and filming a video like today, I'll put on a microfiber towel, but it's not what I typically do. I prefer styling right away on wet hair, but for filming purposes, it's very inconvenient to be out here with dripping wet hair. Alright, now that I'm ready, here are 3 of my most used damage protecting leave-ins that I like to start with. And my Aveda Damage Remedy only has very little left, so I might as well use that up now. And I focus most of this on my ends, which is where it's always most needed. And as expected, I need more water in my hair to continue styling, so I spritz more water on my hair, which is another reason why I don't typically use a towel. And now I'm using the Bondi Boost Rapid Repair Serum, again focusing this on my ends, but I use it all over, really. Now I split my hair in half and begin applying products and styling in sections. Starting with my Guava Rescue Spray by Ceremonia, which is also a damage protecting spray. And I was actually winging this routine. I went into this video not knowing exactly what products I'll be using. I just used things I know I like, but never actually done this exact product combination before. This is my go-to leave-in styler these days. This is Hair Balm by Hair Story, which I've been obsessed with. And again, I'm emptying out my old bottle, whatever's left, before starting a new bottle. And I can actually use this hair balm alone with no other product added and still get amazing results, by the way. I swear you guys, I am not sponsored by Hair Story. I'm a legit fan if you can't tell. So after applying a good amount of my hair balm, I use a styling brush. These are my two best ones, but I love the Tangle Teaser brush more than the Detangling because the teeth are more flexible, more gentle, and give more effortless looking results in my opinion. Something new in my styling routine is that I brush style in small sections instead of chunky sections. This gives my hair more separation and volume that I love, and I don't have to separate large chunks of curls after drying anymore. And I went back to using the I Create Volume Lotion by Innocence, which is an OG favorite of mine. This is so lightweight and I apply it like a gel, just smoothing it down. And this is just a liquid volume enhancer that works great with any leave-in styler really. And now for my bangs, I style it a little differently. I'm careful not to use a lot of product here. So I take a tiny amount of hair balm first, rake it through, and finger coil that area. The front of my hair has always had a looser curl pattern than the rest of my hair, so it's always easy for this area to lose volume and definition as time goes by, so I prefer less product here. And I continue with those two products, styling in small sections with my brush. And finally, I'm taking my I Create Hold Gel by Innocence, which again is one of my longtime favorites. But I don't rake it in, I just smooth it down with my hand so that I don't disturb the brush styling I just did. And then I move on to styling the very top of my hair with the same exact product combo, except this time I'm using much less product, very much like I did with my bangs, because the top of my hair is not as dry and less defined than the bottom of my hair. So it requires lightweight applications in order to get good volume. And here's a tip, you have frizz while your hair is wet during styling, then it will dry frizzy as well. And as you can see, I brush styled with more separated curls, but still frizz free. To dry my hair, I diffuse with my Dyson, always on high fan and low heat setting. And I like to start by drying the back of my hair first, since it takes the longest to dry, and that area is a tighter pattern and drier texture. So I like to use my hands to stretch that section while drying at the same time in hopes of elongating it and get less definition there. The back of my hair just gives me the most issues because it acts so differently from the rest of my curls. But anyway, I hover diffuse all of my hair for about 10 minutes or so all over, and then I go into the ends for a small amount of time. I don't focus too much time there. I don't want to scrunch the ends too much. And towards the end of my drying, I use no heat, just cool air without the diffuser attachment to finish off my drying until it's fully dry. And once my hair is dry, I start scrunching it out to remove the cast from the gel, which is very important to create that softer look to my curls. And then for root volume, I use a hair pick lightly on the roots to create more volume and more separation in the crown area of my head. And that's it. That's what I've been doing these days. That's all, folks. I'm obsessed. Obsessed. I didn't know exactly how it was going to turn out, but I am so happy with this. Definitely doing this combination again. And as you can see, my hair looks hydrated. It does not look dry. It's not too much or too little. I hope you guys enjoyed this curly styling routine with my new hair color. Everything that I mentioned in this video will be down below, linked, info, all of that. Check it out. See you guys next time. Bye, sunshines.